大家好，我是麦克老师。我刚刚离开了 Oklahoma， 我到德州了，超级冷，零下7度今天。Anyway， 今天我要跟大家分析一下数据，预测谁会赢美国大选。Much better. Nice warm weather here in beautiful New Mexico. I mean, look at these mountains, they're so cool. I got my little Toyota camper here. I know I promised to give you guys a tour of the renovations, which I will do very soon after all this election craziness. I know I've been doing a lot of election videos, but I promise I've got some great English videos coming up. But right now, let's sit down and see who is going to win the election. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like below, and share this video. All right, the election is here. I want to look at some data and tell you who I think is going to win. I'll try to be objective, not tell you who I want to win, but what the data is showing. So I'm not a huge fan of Biden or Trump, but based on policies alone, I'm definitely more closely aligned with Trump. If I had the final vote in the election and it was all up to me, I would probably choose Trump because he's good for business. I'm a small business owner, so I'd prefer Trump over Biden, but I think Trump's going to lose. As we look at this data, I want you to think about this. If you had to bet all of your money on one candidate winning, not the one you want to win, but the one you would bet all your money on, who would you bet on to win? So why do I predict Trump will lose? Reason number one, young people are coming out in record numbers. You can see in a lot of states, especially Texas, Florida, North Carolina, young voters have already voted a lot in the early voting. 1 week from Election Day, early voters so far are younger, more racially diverse, and more likely to be Democrats than they were ahead of the 2016 election in many of the key states that could decide the next president. So is this going to continue, or are young people just trying to get it done earlier, or do they want to just avoid crowding voting stations on November 3rd to avoid COVID? If you saw my last video, we interviewed a lot of college students, most of whom voted Biden. This trend is pretty consistent throughout the US. Younger people vote Democrat, they vote Biden. So if they keep smashing voting records, that means a lot more votes for Biden. The second reason why I think Trump will lose is because he's way behind in the polls. And I know in 2016, the polls were wrong. Well, they were correct about the popular vote, but they were wrong about the Electoral College vote. More about that in a minute. In 2016, Trump was behind about 2 or 3%. But this year, let's have a look. So this poll is from USA Today. They're finding Biden with 51.7% of the vote and Trump with 43.4%. It's a difference of 8.3%. It's pretty big, but it went from 8.6 to 8.3 in one day. 4 days before the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton had a 2.1% advantage. Here's one by Fox News. You can see Biden 52%, Trump 44%, also about 8% difference. It used to be about 5 back in September. Here's one by the BBC, Biden 52%, Trump 43%. Again, 9% difference there. We can go on and on and on. All of the polls are showing similar signs, and 8 to 9% is a big, big gap. Of course, the polls could be very, very wrong, as they were in 2016. However, the counter argument to that is the people that do the polls have adjusted for their mistakes in 2016. If they haven't and Trump still wins and beats the odds, then I think it's safe to say that we should never trust polling companies again. They're either super dishonest or they just have no clue what they're doing. Now, once again, you do not have to win the popular vote to win the election. Trump lost the popular vote in 2016, but won the Electoral College. So let's take a look at that. And reason number 3, Trump has very few paths to win the Electoral College. So real quickly, if you don't know, you need 270 votes or more to win the Electoral College and become president. Each state has a certain amount of electoral votes. Each state gets 2 votes plus a number of votes based on their population. For example, in Minnesota, we get 2 votes plus 8 votes based on our population for a total of 10. Whoever wins the popular vote in the state of Minnesota gets all of those 10 votes. The only 2 states that don't do this are Nebraska and Maine. You can see Nebraska here has 4 red votes and 1 blue, so 4 votes will probably go to Trump and 1 to Biden. California, you can see, has 55, kind of important. Want to win that one. The dark blue states you're seeing are certainly going to vote for Biden. The light blue means probably Biden. The dark red means definitely voting for Trump. The light red means probably voting for Trump. And the yellow ones, well, we don't know. Florida has 29 votes, Texas has 38. Those are big ones you want to win. But right now it's just too close to say. So in this scenario, even without any of those yellow states, which we call swing states, Biden has 279 votes, which means he will win. But let's say that Trump wins all of those swing states, all of those yellow ones. It would be very unlikely to win all of them, but he'll probably win most of them. Even then, he's still unlikely to win the election. So here's an example of him winning all of the swing states, but he still has to worry about Pennsylvania. This would leave them tied at 259 each, and Pennsylvania would be the deciding state with 20 votes. Here's another analysis, and it's coming up with similar results. Biden, 203 certain votes, and Trump only 83 certain votes. These states, like Minnesota, probably going to vote Biden, and all these states are kind of in the middle here. So you can see it's just heavily leaning toward a Biden win. This site claims to have attempted to correct methods that underestimated Mr. Trump's support in some states in 2016. But a lot of people still mistrust the polls, as they should. Here's an interesting website that ran 40,000 simulations, and Trump won 10 out of 100 times, and Biden won 90 out of 100 times. So you can see again, the Electoral College outcome is not looking good for Trump. They also found Pennsylvania to be right in the middle. Biden's forecasted to win it, but it could be the deciding state. This same company gave Trump a 1 out of 3 chance of winning in 2016. Now they're giving him a 1 out of 10 chance of winning. So how about the gamblers? What are they saying? Checked a few of them. They're all pretty similar. They're giving Biden a 2/3 chance to win, so Trump basically 1 out of 3. So if you bet $10 on Trump and you win, you get 30 bucks. So by those odds, those aren't too bad. So on Tuesday, November 3rd, we'll know exactly who won the election, right? Actually, we might not know for a few days or a few weeks. Tons of people are doing mail-in voting this year because of COVID. So that's going to take some time to count those votes. Also, a lot of states don't count absentee ballots, such as mine, until after the election. Unless Biden wins by a landslide, we might have to wait until Thanksgiving to find out who won. It's also a bit worrying because the country is very polarized now. So I think no matter who wins, there's probably going to be some protests, maybe some riots. If Trump wins again, I feel the riots are going to be much worse than if Biden were to win. It's going to be crazy either way. So what do you think? Are the polls just wrong? Are they treating Trump unfairly? What do you think is going to happen? Leave me a message below. As always, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. We've got a lot more great content coming your way very soon. 我是麦克老师，下次再见。